Come, let us explore how not to meditate. This evening's lesson is drawn from my latest book, a work in progress. How not to meditate. Sturgeon's Law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, but not in the fun, tingly way. This includes humanity, including those who fancy themselves teachers of meditation. According to Buddhist mythology, Gautama, who was also known as the Buddha, was rather flexible, loving, rational, laid-back, lucid, egalitarian, cooperative, and kind. This is why many people are enthusiastic to emulate his example. Many people, that is, other than his foolish cousin Devadatta. What was he like? Devadatta was rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, cryptic, elitist, competitive, and cruel. Gautama's path could be described by many terms, including yin or spiritual matriarchy, and Devadatta's as yang or pseudo-spiritual patriarchy. Statistically, the majority of meditation teachers unwittingly follow in the footsteps of the Buddha's foolish cousin. Therefore, it should come as little surprise that these individuals implore their students to actively focus and analyze. They might even use labels such as analysis, contemplation, vipassana, samatha, concentration, focus, or even mindfulness. But that final term is woefully misapplied. The only way to practice either active focus, active analysis, or both is to rely upon disparate mechanisms such as those found in our medial prefrontal cortex or our dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Overuse of such regions triggers our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression. This is clearly antithetical to the peace, love, and joy that lure us into what we hope is the Buddha's path of meditation. Far better it is to practice mindfulness and meditation in reliance upon our autonomic nervous system. For doing so could calm our amygdala's anxiety and, aggress. Let me add some extra words here, extra letters. Un momento, s'il vous plaît. Okay. Well, it's a good thing I put that typo all over the damn internet. Yeehaw. For doing so could calm our amygdala's anxiety and aggression, as well as excite our anterior cingulate gyrus's empathy. With consistency, it could even cause our choices, utterances, and deeds to flow habitually flow from the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity. This is why the Buddha taught meditation. Dun dun dun. Jay's here. Hey kids, Jay's here. Jay, to you I send such a psychic hug. And for your little kitty cats too. Now, dear good boy, promise me you're going to start watching Agatha All Along, because it is awesome. And it's a fun source and harmless source of dopamine. Oopsie, come on, coordination, don't fail me now. Guys, I think it could be great fun if together as a team we chanted and meditated after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, Studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Now, I'm going to be a good host and, quick like a bunny, strive to go to the chat window. Oh, Moonlight is so well done. So, Kevin, did you recognize the voice of the guy who played the big bad in that? I'll give you a hint. He was in Amadeus. Kids, together as a team, let us play with the latest iteration of All Good One's Easy Meditation. And I am so excited about the latest subtle tweaks, because that's how I geek out. One of the ways I geek out. Oh yes, remember the halcyon days of junior high when a fat man with a baseball cap and a whistle would demand that first we warm up, then we exercise, and then we cool down. Come, let us follow a similar paradigm. The view of reality that supports letting go is described as the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Let us therefore practice Mahayoga's wisdom warm-up. Yep, it was F. Murray Abraham. Geeks of the world, unites! Please chant with me. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with our follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors with statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors that chance explaining metaphors as similes. Yes, I have 3 inches of geek points. Your geek points rival Mount Everest. I think your standing is safe. Okay, so the Buddha was keen on sorting all that we could perceive into 4 categories: the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. I'm going to begin with the circumstantial, but first allow me to remind you about the use of the word may in this context. We are not petitioning the favors of a real or imaginary celestial entity. Au contraire. We are simply using words to guide our intention upon the path of wisdom. That's it. Let's go for it. May I see how all circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. We could use the verb melt as a metaphor of interdependence. Sorry, take 2. We could use the verb melt as a metaphor of impermanence. And we could use the verb absorb as a metaphor of interdependence. And in the height of irony, we could use, just as some might use fire to fight fire through the cunning use of fire breaks. Oh, I guess that's not fire versus fire. Never mind. Anyway, we could use self-centeredness to transcend self-centeredness, which I think is quite funny. I did an extended counseling session this morning, so I'm exhausted. It was fun. It's much more exciting to counsel someone's about their world life's choices than it is to discuss, politics. But it's tiring. So if I sound like I've had one too many martinis, that's it. I'm a lightweight. It doesn't take much to tucker me out. So what we're going to do, my friends, is take all these words and compress them down to just 6 syllables that we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Together. May we feel how all bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communicational speech. May we hear how all interpersonal speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. So, in addition to exploring impermanence and interdependence, we're going to demystify emptiness. Emptiness, when taken literally, is opaque. When explored figuratively, it makes perfect sense. May we feel how all perceiving, emoting, intending, thinking, recalling, and imagining minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void. What's an empty void? Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be not graspable to the hand. Having completed our warm-up, we now turn to Hatha Yoga's mindfulness and meditation, the 7th and 8th folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. That which supports Hatha Yoga is Mudra Anuyoga's use of gestures to guide our subtle energy work. During our first collection, we could gather 8 sets on our left hand. Of our right hand's 12 rounds. Remembering that a round is both the inhalation and the exhalation, and remembering to advance the thumb during our inhalation. How are we going to mark or keep track of this first of 4 collections? By resting the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger upon the tip of our left little finger, setting both these hands palms up in our lap. Doing so coalesces our subtle energy in our bladder region. Tulku Tundub taught that mindfulness was simply the vulnerable, passive, visceral, random, and fleeting awareness of mind's antics, of perceiving, emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining. The most elegant way to practice this is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. Chogdud Tulku taught that meditation was simply relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. How do we do that? By silently, mentally, and passively reciting the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, relaxing into our exhalation causes that which we perceive during our previous inhalation to feel, at least fleetingly, less solid, less permanent, and less defining. allow me to remind you that as you relax into your exhalation, whatever duality of happy or sad you might have noticed during your inhalation can melt into the simplicity of just memory. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever duality of justice or injustice we might recall or imagine during our inhalation can melt into the simplicity of just behavior. Not just, as in simply behavior. We come now to our second collection of our left hand's 8 sets and our right hand's 12 rounds. Remember to advance the tip of the right thumb during each inhalation. We keep track of this second collection by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger in our hands. Doing so induces subtle energies to coalesce at our navel wheel. mindfulness is simply vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly observing mind's antics of perceiving, emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining. The most elegant way to practice it is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun during each inhalation. Meditation is simply relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. To do this, silently, mentally, and passively, recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. And as we do that, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation can begin to feel fleetingly less solid, less permanent, and less defining. We now perform the third collection of 8 sets and our right hand's 12 rounds. We keep track of this third collection by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger. Doing so induces our subtle energy to coalesce at our heart. The essence of mindfulness is to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly watch the antics of mind as it perceives, emotes, intends, reasons, recalls, and imagines. The easiest way to do this is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. The essence of meditation is to relax into mind's non-graspable nature in such a way that whatever we perceived during our previous inhalation could feel less solid, less permanent, and less defining. To do this, silently, mentally, and passively recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. We come now to our fourth collection of our left hand's 8 sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where we keep track of our right hand's 12 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wherein we advance our right thumb during each inhalation. How do we keep track of this fourth collection? By resting the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger in our lap. Doing this induces our subtle energies to coalesce at our crown. Oops, wrong button. Tulku Tundup taught, that's kind of a tongue twister, isn't it? That mindfulness is simply vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly observing mind's antics of perceiving, emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining. That might seem like a tall order, but it is as simple as silently, mentally, and passively reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. Chogdud Tulku taught that meditation was relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature in such a way that whatever we perceived during our previous inhalation could begin to feel less solid, less permanent, less defining, at least fleetingly. The most elegant way to do that is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. We now switch gears from silent meditation to mantra meditation. Please chant with me. I invoke teachers on action on meditation and whom view that the Benza Tantric. Guru preaches Pema's enlightenment and city abilities whom may be mastered by all. It's very simple. During our inhalation, silently, mentally, and passively we recite, relaxing into this. During our exhalation, we physically relax as best we can, while striving to chant this 12-syllable mantra 3 times per breath. Now, if this is your first time hanging out with me or hanging out with me, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Now, a simple way to keep track of our chanting is this. Count 1 breath per finger and count 1 recitation per set of creases. Om Mahum Binzu Guru Mema Siddhi Hum. 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 For our second collection of 12 mantras, we could, oopsie, wrong button. We could rest the great knuckle at the root of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger in our lap. Om Mahum Binzu Guru Mema Siddhi Hum. 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 Om Mahum Binzu Om Mahum Binzu Guru Mema Siddhi Hum. 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 I'm feeling really out of it, so let's jump ahead. We began with Mahayoga's wisdom warm-up, and let us conclude with Mahayoga's compassionate cool-down, for 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path is comprised of loving kindness. Please chant with me. Rather than indulge our controlling tendencies with our follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these kind words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors for statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. May all minds of all beings now be as peacefully enlightened as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a clear one suitable zero bija mantra. Let us, as we rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, upon the tip of our left little finger in our lap, our subtle energy could coalesce at our bladder. May we be a font of blessing for... Let's try this again. May our minds be a font of blessing for all who remember or even hate us. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Masiri Hung. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Masiri Hung. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Masiri Hung. If you've just joined us during our inhalation, we silently and mentally recite this loving wish. During our exhalation, we physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 12-syllable mantra 3 times per breath. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Masiri Hung. 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 The mental morality of kind intention is the second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Together. May all relationships, all speech of all beings now be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddha speech symbolized by a multisyllabic mantra. As we gently rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger in our lap, our subtle energy could coalesce at our navel. May our speech be a font of blessing for all who hear us or speak of us, even in scorn. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Masiri Hung. 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 The interpersonal morality of kind communication is the third fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all bodies or forms of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health represented by Buddha's statuary. depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined Yadaman archetype of enlightenment such as Kuntu Zangpo. As we rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger in our lap, our subtle energy could coalesce at our heart. May our bodies be a font of blessing for all who we touch or touch us, even in malice. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Mema Siri Hung 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 Om Ahum Benzo Guru Mema Siri Hung. The physical morality of kind conduct is the fourth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. We now come to the final practice of this evening. So come, let us make it count. Together. May all circumstances, all lots of all beings now have their safe fortune on boon. As a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land or Vanti. As we rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger in our lap, our subtle energy could coalesce at our crown. One moment, if you please. Thank you for your patience. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Mema Siri Hung 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 Om Ahum Benzo Guru Mema Siri Hung, Om Mahung Benzo Guru Me Mazari 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 Hung. The circumstantial morality of kind commerce is the fifth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.